Why Calmness Intimidates Others, a motivational self-help audiobook by Astrian. I still remember the moment I realized my silence was making people uncomfortable. I was in a room filled with raised voices and wild gestures, and I simply sat there, listening with a steady heartbeat. A friend later pulled me aside and asked why I looked so angry, but I was not angry at all. I was simply calm, and that calmness had been read as a threat. It was confusing at first because I thought peace was something everyone wanted. Instead, I discovered that my stillness was like a mirror, reflecting back the chaos others carried inside. That day, I stopped seeing my quiet nature as a flaw and started wondering if it might actually be a hidden power. This book was born from that single moment of realization and years of learning to embrace the strength I already had. This book is not about changing who you are or learning to be louder to fit in. It is a guide for those who have been told they are too quiet, too serious, or too hard to read by a world that celebrates noise. We will walk together through the surprising reasons why your calmness can make others feel uneasy, and how that reaction has nothing to do with you being wrong. You will learn to see your stillness as a superpower that allows you to see clearly when others are blinded by emotion. Each chapter will give you tools to protect your peace while also using your quiet strength to build the life you want. I promise you that by the end of this journey, you will stop apologizing for being calm and start appreciating the rare gift you possess. The world needs more people who can stand firm when everything around them is shaking. Get ready to discover just how powerful your quiet truly is. Chapter 1. The world is loud, but you don't have to be. Think about the world we live in for just a moment. Every day, we are bombarded with sounds, alerts, and voices all screaming for our attention. Social media feeds are filled with hot takes and arguments that demand an instant reaction from us. News headlines are designed to make us feel afraid or angry, so we keep watching. Even our friends and family sometimes mistake talking fast and often for being confident and smart. It feels like there is a hidden rule that says if you are not making noise, you are not participating in life. This constant pressure to be loud can make a naturally calm person feel like they are doing something wrong. But what if the real problem is not your quietness, but a world that has forgotten how to listen? Being calm in a loud world is actually a rare and valuable gift that few people possess. Imagine being in a crowded room where everyone is shouting, and you are the only one who can hear a whisper. That is what your calmness does for you in everyday life. It gives you access to details, feelings, and truths that others miss entirely because they are too busy making noise. While others are reacting, you are observing and understanding the deeper story unfolding around you. Your quiet nature allows you to think before you speak, which means your words carry more weight when you finally share them. People who are always loud often run out of things to say that actually matter. You, on the other hand, have a well of thoughtful ideas that only grows deeper with your silence. There is a common misunderstanding that quiet people are shy, weak, or unsure of themselves. This idea is spread by those who cannot imagine sitting with their own thoughts without feeling uncomfortable. Shyness comes from fear, but calmness comes from a place of inner security and self-awareness. You are not hiding because you are scared. You are choosing when and how to engage because you value meaningful connection. A weak person feels the need to prove themselves constantly through words and actions. A calm person knows their worth and does not need to announce it to every person they meet. The difference is as clear as the difference between an empty can that rattles loudly and a full one that sits silently. You are not empty, and your quietness proves you have nothing to prove. Your calmness is like a superpower that allows you to navigate life with clarity and purpose. When a storm of emotions hits a group of people, you are the one who can still see the way out. You do not get swept away by temporary feelings or manipulated by words meant to provoke you. This ability to stay steady makes you incredibly valuable in friendships, families, and workplaces. People may not always say it, but they notice that you are the one who does not fall apart under pressure. They may even feel intimidated because they wish they had the same control over their own emotions. Your presence alone can bring a sense of safety and stability to those around you. That is not a weakness to hide. It is a strength to be honored. Learning to appreciate your calm nature starts with accepting that you do not need to change who you are. You have spent so much time being told that you should talk more or show more emotion on your face. But those people are asking you to be smaller so they can feel more comfortable with their own noise. Your quietness is not a problem that needs fixing, and you are not broken because you enjoy stillness. The most powerful people in history were often described as calm, collected, and slow to speak. They understood that energy spent on reacting is energy wasted on things that do not matter. By staying calm, you conserve your energy for the battles that truly deserve your attention. You are not too quiet. You are exactly as powerful as you need to be. As we move forward in this book, you will learn how to harness this natural gift you already possess. We will explore why your calmness sometimes makes others uneasy and how to use that to your advantage. You will discover simple ways to strengthen your inner peace so that nothing can shake it. You will also learn how to communicate in a way that makes your quiet voice heard loud and clear. This is not about becoming someone new. It is about finally understanding the incredible person you already are. The world does not need you to shout. It needs you to stand firm in your truth. So take a deep breath and feel proud of the calmness that lives inside you. Your journey to owning your quiet strength starts right here. Chapter 2. Not cold, just controlled. The difference between quiet and weak. There is a massive difference between being quiet because you are afraid and being quiet because you are in control. Many people confuse these two states because they only see the outward behavior of silence. When someone is weak and quiet, they are silent because they feel powerless to speak up for themselves. When someone is controlled and quiet, they are silent because they are carefully choosing the right moment to act. One comes from a place of fear, while the other comes from a place of strength and intention. You might have been called cold or distant by people who could not understand your self-control. But being controlled does not mean you lack emotions. It means you have mastered them instead of letting them master you. This chapter will help you see the clear line between weakness and the powerful control you carry. People who mistake calmness for coldness are often the ones who wear all their emotions on their sleeves. They believe that if you are not showing your feelings loudly, you must not have any feelings at all. This belief is simply not true, and it comes from a limited understanding of how different people process the world. A calm person can feel joy, sadness, anger, and love just as deeply as anyone else. The only difference is that they do not feel the need to display these emotions for an audience. They understand that their feelings are real whether they are expressed outwardly or held within thoughtfully. There is a strength in knowing that your emotions belong to you and you alone. You are not cold. You are a guardian of your own heart, and that is something to be respected. Think of a firefighter who walks into a burning building while everyone else runs out screaming. That firefighter feels fear, but they do not let that fear control their actions. Their calmness in the face of danger is not coldness. It is the result of training, focus, and a deep sense of purpose. Similarly, your calmness in heated moments comes from an inner discipline that you have built over time. You have learned that reacting immediately often leads to saying things you cannot take back. You have discovered that pausing gives you the power to respond with wisdom instead of impulse. This ability to pause is one of the greatest signs of emotional strength a person can possess. Anyone can react, but it takes a strong person to respond with intention. When you remain calm in a situation where others are losing control, you naturally become the leader in that space. People look to the calmest person in a crisis because they represent stability and safety. Your controlled demeanor signals to others that there is no need to panic because someone is already handling things. This does not mean you are taking over or bossing people around. It means you are providing a steady anchor. Others may not even realize they are looking to you, but their instincts tell them to follow the person who is not falling apart. This is why your calmness can feel intimidating to those who are used to being the loudest in the room. They sense your quiet authority, and it challenges their assumption that noise equals power. You do not need to raise your voice to lead. You simply need to be the one who remains standing when everyone else is shaking. It is important to recognize that controlling your emotions is not the same as suppressing them. Suppression means pretending you do not feel something and pushing it deep down where it will eventually explode. Control means acknowledging your feelings, understanding where they come from, and deciding how to express them in a healthy way. You are not a robot without emotions, and you should never try to become one. Instead, you are a person who has learned that emotions are valuable guides, not dictators of your actions. You feel the anger, but you choose to speak about it calmly so your message is heard. You feel the sadness, but you allow yourself to process it in private without making others carry your burden. This balance is the heart of emotional intelligence, and it is a skill that most people spend their entire lives trying to learn. Owning your controlled nature means accepting that some people will never understand your way of being. There will always be those who interpret your silence as disinterest and your calm as arrogance. You cannot control how others perceive you, and you will exhaust yourself trying to convince them otherwise. What you can control is your own sense of self and the confidence you carry in your own skin. Your quiet strength is not for everyone to understand, and that is perfectly okay. The right people will see your calmness for what it truly is, a sign of depth, maturity, and unshakable character. They will feel safe with you because they know you will not fly off the handle at the smallest trigger. So stand tall in your controlled nature, knowing that you possess a strength that the loudest people in the room will never understand. Chapter 3: Why a Still Lake Makes People Nervous. Imagine standing at the edge of a perfectly still lake on a quiet morning. The water is so calm that it reflects the sky and trees with perfect clarity. Now imagine that same lake during a storm, with waves crashing and water splashing everywhere. Which scene feels more mysterious and perhaps a little unsettling to you? Most people would say the still lake feels more mysterious because they cannot see what lies beneath the surface. A stormy lake shows you its chaos openly, but a still lake hides its depths in silence. This is exactly why your calmness can make some people feel nervous or uneasy. They see your peaceful surface and wonder what powerful currents might be moving underneath. Human beings are naturally curious about things they cannot easily understand or predict. When someone is loud and emotional, their reactions are predictable because they show everything they feel. You know exactly where you stand with a person who wears their heart on their sleeve every moment. But when you encounter a calm person, you cannot predict how they will react because they do not give away their feelings freely. This unpredictability can make some people uncomfortable because they prefer to know what is coming. Your stillness becomes a puzzle they cannot solve, and some people feel threatened by puzzles they cannot solve. They might even project their own fears onto you, assuming you are hiding anger or judgment. In reality, you are simply being yourself, and their discomfort is about their own need for control. Your calmness acts like a mirror that reflects the inner state of the people around you. When you sit quietly in a group, your stillness forces others to sit with their own thoughts and feelings. A person who is at peace with themselves will enjoy your calm presence and feel comfortable beside you. A person who is carrying inner chaos will feel that chaos more intensely when they are around your stillness. They might accuse you of being judgmental or cold simply because your peace highlights their lack of it. This is not your fault, and it does not mean you need to become more chaotic to make them comfortable. Your calmness is a gift that shows people where they stand with themselves, whether they are ready to see it or not. The discomfort they feel is actually an invitation for them to look inward, but most will choose to blame you instead. There is a common misconception that calm people are secretly angry or plotting something behind their peaceful facades. This idea comes from movies and stories where the quiet character turns out to be the villain. In real life, the opposite is usually true because people who are genuinely calm have nothing to hide. They do not need to scheme or manipulate because they are secure in who they are and what they want. Their transparency comes from their stillness, not from loud declarations of their intentions. You do not need to prove your goodness by performing emotions for others to see. Your consistent calmness over time will show your true character far better than any dramatic display could. The people who matter will come to trust your stillness because they have seen you remain steady through every season. Learning to be comfortable with the mystery you present to others is an important step in owning your calm strength. You do not owe anyone a full view of your inner world just because they feel curious or uneasy. Your depth is yours to share with whom you choose, and when you choose to share it. There is power in being someone who cannot be easily read by every person they meet. It protects you from those who would use your vulnerabilities against you if they knew them. It also allows you to move through the world with a sense of privacy and dignity that is rare today. You are not being secretive or dishonest. You are simply respecting your own inner sanctuary. Let them wonder about the depths beneath your still surface, because that wondering gives you a quiet power. The goal is not to make people nervous on purpose, but to stop being afraid of their reactions to your calmness. You have spent too much time trying to make others comfortable by pretending to be more chaotic than you are. You have laughed when you did not want to laugh and talked when you had nothing to say. All of that effort did not bring you peace. It only drained your energy and made you feel unseen. It is time to release the burden of managing other people's feelings about your natural state of being. If your stillness makes someone uncomfortable, that is their opportunity to grow, not your problem to solve. You can be kind and compassionate without abandoning the calm that makes you who you are. So let your lake be still, and let the world wonder about the beautiful depths they cannot yet see. Chapter 4. When emotions fly, you stay grounded. Have you ever been in a heated argument where everyone around you lost complete control of their emotions? You watched as voices got louder, faces turned red, and words became weapons meant to wound. In the middle of that storm, you found yourself strangely calm, almost like you were watching from outside your own body. You probably wondered if something was wrong with you for not being as swept up as everyone else. Nothing is wrong with you, and in fact, you have discovered one of the most valuable abilities a person can possess. Staying grounded when emotions fly is not a sign of detachment. It is a sign of incredible emotional maturity. While others are drowning in the waves of their feelings, you are standing on solid ground. This chapter will help you understand why this ability is your greatest strength in any conflict. When you remain calm in a conflict, you gain a massive advantage that the emotional people around you cannot access. Your groundedness allows you to think clearly while others are thinking with their wounded feelings and racing hearts. You can hear the actual words being said instead of interpreting everything through a filter of anger or fear. You can notice the real needs behind the loud complaints and identify what the person is truly asking for. This clarity means you can respond to the root of the problem instead of getting lost in the surface-level drama. The emotional person is fighting a battle against their own feelings while also fighting against you. You are simply focused on solving the problem at hand, which makes you incredibly effective. This is why calm people often become the mediators and peacemakers in their families and friend groups. Your grounded presence actually has the power to redirect the energy of an entire room full of emotional people. Have you ever noticed how a room full of shouting people will slowly quiet down when one person remains calm? Your stillness acts like a cooling wave that gradually lowers the temperature of the heated space. People unconsciously match the energy of those around them, and you are offering an energy of stability. When you refuse to raise your voice, it becomes harder for others to justify raising theirs. When you keep your body language open and relaxed, it signals that there is no real threat to fight against. You are not trying to control anyone. You are simply refusing to be controlled by the chaos around you. This gentle redirection is a form of leadership that does not require a single commanding word. There is a special kind of power in being the person who does not fall apart when everything else is falling apart. People will remember that you were the one who kept their head while others lost theirs. In moments of crisis, Whether small arguments or major emergencies, your calmness makes you invaluable. Friends will come to you when they are spiraling because they know you will help them find solid ground. Family members will trust you with difficult situations because you will not make them worse with emotional reactions. Your reputation as a grounded person becomes a resource that opens doors and deepens relationships. This does not mean you are responsible for fixing everyone's problems or managing their emotions. It simply means you have become a safe harbor in a world full of storms, and people will cherish you for it. Staying grounded does not mean you do not feel the emotions that are flying around you. You might feel anger rising in your chest or frustration tightening your shoulders just like everyone else. The difference is that you have learned to feel these emotions without letting them drive your actions. You can acknowledge your anger and then choose to speak with kindness instead of letting the anger speak for you. You can notice your frustration and then decide to take a deep breath before responding. This ability to pause between feeling and acting is what separates those who are controlled by their emotions from those who control them. You are not avoiding your feelings. You are simply refusing to let them become weapons that hurt others or yourself. This is emotional strength at its finest, and it is a skill you have already begun to master. As you continue to develop this grounded strength, you will face moments where staying calm feels nearly impossible. There will be situations designed to push your buttons and people who want to see you lose your cool. In those moments, remember that your calmness is your power, and losing it gives your power away to someone else. You do not have to win every argument or prove yourself to every person who challenges you. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is remain silent, smile gently, and refuse to engage in the chaos. Your groundedness is a statement that you value your peace more than you value being right in a meaningless fight. The world will try to pull you into its storms, but you have the strength to stand firm. Keep standing, because the world needs more people who can stay grounded when everything else is flying. Chapter 5: The Silent One in the Room: How Your Presence Commands Attention. We live in a culture that teaches us that to be noticed, we must speak loudly and frequently. From a young age, we are told to raise our hands, speak up, and make our voices heard above the crowd. This advice is well-intentioned, but it overlooks the immense power of silent presence in a room. Some of the most memorable and influential people you have ever met were likely not the loudest talkers. They were the ones who walked into a space and somehow changed the energy without saying a word. Your quiet nature gives you this same ability to command attention through presence rather than noise. When you stop trying to compete with the loud voices, you discover that silence has a voice of its own. This chapter will show you how your stillness makes you impossible to ignore in the best possible way. Think about a time when you walked into a room full of people talking and laughing loudly. If you walked in and immediately started talking, you would simply blend into the existing noise. But if you walked in quietly, stood calmly, and simply observed, something different would happen. People would start to notice you because your stillness stands out against the backdrop of chaos. They would wonder what you are thinking and why you are not participating in the noise. Your silence creates a space of curiosity that draws attention in a way that noise never could. This is not a trick or a manipulation. It is simply the natural result of being rare in a world full of common behaviors. When everyone is shouting, the one who whispers becomes the most interesting person in the room. Your quiet presence is not a lack of something. It is a presence of something rare and compelling. Your words carry more weight when you speak because you are not constantly filling the air with unnecessary chatter. People who talk constantly often find that their words lose value because they are so abundant. Listeners start to tune them out because they assume that most of what they say is not important. In contrast, when you speak after long periods of thoughtful silence, people instinctively lean in to listen. They know that if you are choosing to use your voice, there must be a good reason behind it. Your words become like currency that holds its value because it is not spent carelessly on every passing thought. This makes you incredibly effective in meetings, conversations, and moments where you need to be heard. You do not need to shout to be heard. You just need to speak when your words actually matter. There is a certain authority that comes with being someone who cannot be easily read or predicted by others. When people cannot immediately figure you out, they give you more space and respect than they give to open books. This is not about being mysterious for the sake of appearing cool or interesting. It is about protecting your inner world while allowing your presence to speak for itself. You do not need to explain yourself, your feelings, or your thoughts to every person you meet. Your comfort with silence signals that you are not desperate for approval or attention from anyone in the room. That lack of desperation is itself a form of power that people instinctively respect. They sense that you are complete within yourself, and that completeness commands a natural form of authority. Commanding attention through presence does not mean you are trying to dominate or control a room. The goal is not to make people feel intimidated or small so that you can feel powerful. The goal is to be so comfortable in your own skin that your peace becomes an invitation for others to rest. When you walk into a room with calm confidence, you offer others permission to also be calm. Your presence becomes a safe space where people can drop their performances and just be themselves. This is why people are drawn to calm individuals even if they are initially intimidated by them. They sense that your stillness is not a wall but a door into a more peaceful way of being. Your quiet presence is a gift that you offer to every room you enter, whether the people there realize it or not. As you grow more comfortable with your silent presence, you will notice how your relationships begin to change. People will start seeking you out for your perspective because they value your thoughtful nature. You will find that you no longer need to fight for space in conversations because space is naturally given to you. Your confidence in your quietness will grow as you see the positive responses it brings from others. You will stop feeling like you need to perform or pretend to be someone you are not just to fit in. The right people will appreciate you for exactly who you are, and the wrong people will fade away. Your presence is enough exactly as it is, without any additions or alterations needed. So walk into your next room with your head held high, knowing that your silence is speaking volumes. Chapter 6. They can't figure you out, and that's the point. Have you ever had someone tell you that they cannot figure you out as if it were a criticism? This statement often comes from people who pride themselves on being able to read others quickly. They feel uncomfortable when someone does not fit neatly into the boxes they have created in their mind. Your calm nature means you do not immediately reveal your thoughts, feelings, or intentions to everyone you meet. To someone who relies on reading people, you become a puzzle that they cannot solve. Their frustration is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that you are complex and interesting. Being easily figured out is not actually a compliment when you think about it. This chapter will help you see why being a bit mysterious is one of your greatest assets. There is real protection in not being an open book to every person who crosses your path. When you show all your cards immediately, you give others the power to predict and manipulate your reactions. People who know exactly what bothers you can use that knowledge to push your buttons whenever they want. People who know your deepest insecurities can use those as weapons when they feel threatened by you. By keeping some of your thoughts and feelings private, you maintain control over how others can interact with you. This is not about being secretive or dishonest. It is about being wise with your inner world. You would not give your house keys to a stranger, so why would you give access to your emotional home to everyone you meet? Your privacy is a form of self-respect, and it deserves to be protected. The people who are most bothered by not being able to figure you out are often those who have control issues themselves. They want to know what you are thinking so they can predict how you will act in the future. They want to understand your weaknesses so they can feel superior or secure in their own standing. When you do not provide this information freely, they feel a loss of control that makes them uncomfortable. Their discomfort is not your responsibility, and it does not mean you should open up more than you are ready to. You get to decide who earns access to your inner world based on trust built over time. This is a healthy boundary that emotionally intelligent people will respect without complaint. The ones who demand immediate access are usually the ones who would misuse it if given. There is a beautiful freedom that comes with accepting that not everyone will understand you, and that is okay. For years, you may have tried to explain yourself to people who were never going to get it anyway. You may have overshared in hopes of being accepted, only to feel exposed and misunderstood afterward. The truth is that some people are not meant to understand you, and their confusion is not a reflection of your worth. You are a complex human being with layers that cannot be captured in a quick first impression. The people who are meant to know you deeply will earn that privilege through patience, kindness, and consistent respect. They will not demand that you reveal yourself before you are ready. They will enjoy discovering your layers slowly, like reading a beautiful book one chapter at a time. Embracing your mysterious side actually makes your relationships deeper and more meaningful when you do choose to open up. When you are not constantly sharing every thought and feeling, the moments you do share become special. Your vulnerability becomes a gift that you offer to those who have proven themselves worthy of receiving it. This creates relationships built on genuine trust rather than forced intimacy that feels hollow. The people who stay in your life will know that your openness is precious because it is rare. They will treasure the moments when you share your inner world because they understand the honor it represents. You are not being difficult or closed off. You are being selective with your emotional energy. And that selectivity is a sign of self-respect that will attract the right people into your life. As you move forward, let go of the pressure to be easily understood by everyone you encounter. You do not need to be a simple person who fits into neat categories for the comfort of others. Your depth is a gift that will be appreciated by those who value substance over surface-level interactions. Some people will call you hard to read, and you can simply smile and thank them for the compliment. Being hard to read means you are not predictable, and being unpredictable is a form of freedom. You get to surprise people with your kindness, your wisdom, and your unexpected insights. You get to keep some parts of yourself just for you, guarded like precious treasures. So stand confidently in your complexity, knowing that being unfigured out is not a flaw but a feature of your beautiful depth. Chapter 7: Your Secret Weapon, Listening Like a Spy. In a world where most people are waiting for their turn to talk, the ability to truly listen has become rare. Conversations often feel like two people taking turns speaking without either one really hearing the other. People are so focused on what they will say next that they miss what is being said to them right now. Your calm nature makes you naturally better at listening because you are not rushing to fill silence. You are comfortable letting others speak while you absorb, process, and understand what they are sharing. This ability to listen deeply is one of the most powerful tools you can possess in relationships and life. It gives you access to information, trust, and influence that loud people can never access. This chapter will show you how your listening skills are a secret weapon that you already possess. When you truly listen to someone, you give them a gift that most people rarely receive in their daily lives. Most people feel unheard and unseen because the world is too busy to stop and pay attention to them. When you sit quietly and give someone your full attention, you are telling them that they matter. Your silence becomes a safe container where they can share their thoughts without interruption or judgment. They will say things to you that they would never say to anyone else because you make them feel safe. This safety is created by your calm presence and your genuine interest in understanding them. You are not listening to respond. You are listening to understand, and people can feel the difference. This is why calm people often become the trusted confidants and advisors in their circles. Your listening skills give you a strategic advantage in every area of your life, from work to family to friendships. In a meeting, you hear what is being said between the words, not just the words themselves. You notice who is truly aligned with a project and who is just pretending to be supportive. You pick up on unspoken concerns, hidden motivations, and subtle dynamics that others miss completely. This information is power because it allows you to make decisions based on reality rather than surface appearances. You know who to trust and who to be cautious around because you have been paying attention all along. The loud people are too busy talking to notice the important details that you are quietly collecting. Your silence is not emptiness. It is a library of insights that grows richer every day. Becoming an exceptional listener starts with a simple shift in your mindset about conversations. Instead of thinking about what you will say next, focus entirely on understanding the person speaking to you. Imagine that their words are a puzzle, and your job is to see the full picture they are trying to show you. Ask questions that invite them to go deeper, but only when they have finished sharing their initial thoughts. Resist the urge to jump in with your own stories or advice unless they specifically ask for it. Most people do not want solutions. They want to feel heard and understood by someone who cares. Your calm presence gives you the patience to let them say everything they need to say without rushing them. This patience makes you a rare and valuable friend that people will cherish for a lifetime. There is a common fear that if you are quiet in conversations, people will think you have nothing to contribute. This fear is understandable, but it is based on a misunderstanding of what contribution actually means. Your contribution is not measured by the number of words you speak, but by the impact of those words. Sometimes the greatest contribution you can make is to give someone the space to find their own answers. By listening without interrupting, you allow them to hear their own thoughts and gain clarity they could not find alone. Your presence alone can be enough to help someone work through a problem without you saying a single word. This is a form of contribution that is invisible but incredibly powerful. You are helping simply by being there, calm and present, holding space for someone else's journey. As you continue to develop your listening skills, you will notice how people respond to you in new and beautiful ways. Friends will seek you out when they are struggling because they know you will not judge or interrupt them. Colleagues will trust you with important information because they know you will not spread gossip or use it against them. Strangers will open up to you in unexpected ways because your calm energy makes them feel safe. You will find that your relationships deepen without you having to work hard to impress anyone. All you have to do is be present, listen, and let your genuine care show through your attention. Your quiet nature is not a barrier to connection. It is the very thing that makes deep connection possible. So keep listening like a spy, gathering the precious information of people's hearts, and using that knowledge to build bridges of understanding. Chapter 8. The Breathe First Rule. Simple tricks to stay calm in any storm. Staying calm in difficult moments is not something that happens by accident. It is a skill that can be practiced and strengthened. Just like a musician practices scales or an athlete practices drills, you can practice calmness until it becomes automatic. The good news is that you do not need hours of meditation or complicated techniques to build this skill. Simple, practical tools can make a massive difference in how you respond to stressful situations. This chapter is dedicated to giving you those tools so you can stay calm when life tries to shake you. You will learn that calmness is not about never feeling stressed. It is about having a plan for when stress arrives. With a few simple rules, you can become the person who handles pressure with grace and ease. Let us begin with the most powerful and simplest tool you have: your breath. The Breathe First rule is exactly what it sounds like, and it can change your life in moments of stress. When something happens that makes your heart race or your temper flare, your first action should always be to breathe. Not to speak, not to react, not to fire off a text message, but to take one slow, deep breath. This simple pause creates a tiny gap between the trigger and your response, and that gap is where your power lives. In that gap, you can choose how you want to respond instead of letting your emotions choose for you. A deep breath also sends a signal to your nervous system that you are safe and not under attack. This calms your body down so your brain can think clearly instead of operating in panic mode. The Breathe First rule is small enough to remember and powerful enough to change the outcome of any heated moment. Another simple but powerful tool is what we will call the 5 senses reset, for when your mind is spinning out of control. When you feel overwhelmed by thoughts or emotions, pause and name 5 things you can see around you. Then name 4 things you can physically feel, like the ground under your feet or the fabric of your shirt. Then name 3 things you can hear, even if they are quiet sounds you usually ignore. Then name 2 things you can smell, and finally 1 thing you can taste. This exercise forces your brain to stop looping on stressful thoughts and come back to the present moment. Your calmness lives in the present moment, while anxiety lives in worries about the future or regrets about the past. By bringing yourself back to your senses, you bring yourself back to your calm center. This tool takes less than a minute and can pull you out of the most intense mental storms. Creating a personal calm anchor gives you something physical to hold on to when emotions start rising inside you. A calm anchor is any small object that you can carry with you and touch when you need to center yourself. It could be a smooth stone, a special keychain, a ring on your finger, or even a certain texture in your pocket. The key is that you train yourself to associate this object with feelings of safety, peace, and control. When you feel stress building, you touch your anchor and take a deep breath, letting the object remind you of your strength. Your brain will begin to automatically connect the touch of the anchor with a calm state of being. Over time, just reaching for your anchor will start to lower your heart rate and clear your mind. This is a simple but powerful way to carry your calmness with you wherever you go. One of the most effective strategies for staying calm is learning to slow down your responses on purpose. When someone asks you a question that feels loaded or confrontational, pause for 3 seconds before answering. When you feel the urge to send an angry email or text, write it in a notes app and wait an hour before sending it. When you are in a heated conversation, speak more slowly than feels natural, giving yourself time to choose your words wisely. These deliberate pauses might feel awkward at first, but they are the mark of someone in control. Fast reactions are often regretted reactions, while slow responses are usually wise responses. Your calmness grows stronger every time you choose to slow down instead of speeding up in stress. You are training yourself to be a person who responds rather than reacts, and that training pays off in every area of life. Finally, remember that staying calm is not about being perfect or never feeling overwhelmed by life. There will be days when your tools do not work as well as you hoped they would. There will be moments when you lose your cool and say something you wish you had not said. This does not mean you have failed or that your calmness is fake. It means you are human. The goal is not to never fall. The goal is to get better at getting back up when you do. Each time you practice these simple tools, you are building a stronger foundation of calm that will serve you for life. Be patient with yourself as you learn, and celebrate the small victories along the way. Your calmness is growing stronger every day, even on the days when it does not feel that way. Chapter 9. Your triggers are not your masters. Every person has certain buttons that, when pushed, can send them from calm to raging in seconds. These buttons are called triggers, and they are formed by our past experiences, fears, and insecurities. Triggers are not weaknesses. They are simply evidence that you are a human being with a history and a heart. The problem is not that you have triggers. The problem is when your triggers control your reactions without your permission. When someone knows how to push your buttons, they can manipulate your emotions and your behavior. This gives them power over you that you do not want them to have. The good news is that you can learn to identify your triggers and respond to them with awareness instead of automatic reaction. This chapter will guide you through the process of taking back control from the things that set you off. The first step to mastering your triggers is simply identifying what they are and writing them down without judgment. Think about the last few times you lost your calm and reacted in a way you later regretted. What was happening right before you reacted? What words were said? What tone was used? Or what situation was unfolding? You might notice patterns, like certain topics that always make you angry or certain behaviors that always frustrate you. Maybe you are triggered by feeling ignored, disrespected, or treated as if you are not important. Maybe you are triggered by loud voices, by being rushed, or by people who do not keep their promises. None of these triggers are shameful, and identifying them is an act of courage and self-awareness. Write them down in a journal or a note on your phone and simply observe them without criticizing yourself for having them. Once you have identified your triggers, you can begin to understand the stories behind why they affect you so strongly. Your triggers are not random. They are connected to experiences that taught your brain to be on alert. Perhaps being ignored triggers you because you felt invisible as a child and learned to fight for attention. Perhaps being yelled at triggers you because loud voices once meant danger or criticism in your past. Understanding the origin of a trigger does not excuse reactive behavior, but it does help you respond with compassion to yourself. You can say to yourself, "Of course this bothers me, given what I have been through, but I do not have to let it control me anymore." This understanding takes away some of the shame and allows you to approach your triggers with curiosity instead of fear. Your triggers become less mysterious and less powerful when you understand where they come from. With awareness and understanding in place, you can begin to build new responses to replace the old reactive patterns. When you feel a trigger being activated, you now have the power to pause instead of immediately reacting. In that pause, you can acknowledge to yourself, "I am being triggered right now, and I get to choose how I respond." You can take a deep breath and remind yourself that you are safe in this moment, even if your body is sounding an alarm. You can decide whether this situation deserves your emotional energy, or whether it is a trigger from the past pretending to be a threat in the present. This is not about suppressing your feelings. It is about choosing which feelings to act on and which to simply observe. Over time, this practice rewires your brain so that triggers lose their automatic power over you. You become the one who decides how you will respond, not your past wounds. As you practice this new way of responding, you will notice that certain people and situations no longer have the same effect on you. The friend who used to make you angry with a certain comment will find that you no longer take the bait. The family member who knew exactly which buttons to push will discover that those buttons no longer work. This can be unsettling for people who are used to controlling you through your triggers. They may try harder to get a reaction from you, testing to see if your calmness is real. Stay steady and do not let their testing pull you back into old patterns. Your calmness in the face of your old triggers is proof of the growth you have achieved. You are showing yourself and the world that your triggers are no longer your masters. The ultimate freedom comes when you realize that your triggers are simply signals, not commands that you must obey. They are like alarm systems that were installed to protect you, but sometimes go off when there is no real danger. Your job is not to remove the alarm system. Your job is to become a wise responder who checks for real danger before reacting. Some triggers will always exist because they are connected to real pain that deserves acknowledgement. The difference is that now you have the tools to acknowledge that pain without letting it drive your behavior. You can feel the trigger, honor the feeling, and then choose a response that aligns with the person you want to be. This is emotional mastery, and it is one of the most empowering achievements a person can reach. Your triggers are part of your story, but they do not get to write your future. Chapter 10: How to Say No with a Smile and Mean It. For many calm people, saying no can feel incredibly difficult because they do not want to disappoint anyone. Your quiet nature may make you seem like an easy target for people who want to offload their responsibilities onto you. You may have found yourself agreeing to things you did not want to do simply to avoid an uncomfortable conversation. This pattern leaves you feeling drained, resentful, and frustrated with yourself for not standing up for your own needs. Learning to say no is not about becoming mean or selfish. It is about protecting your time and energy for what truly matters. When you say no to things that drain you, you are saying yes to your own peace and priorities. The good news is that you can say no firmly while still being kind and maintaining your calm demeanor. This chapter will teach you how to set boundaries with a smile that leaves everyone feeling respected. The first thing to understand is that no is a complete sentence, and you do not owe anyone a long explanation for your decision. Many calm people overexplain their no because they feel guilty or fear being seen as rude. They offer excuses, apologies, and lengthy justifications that invite the other person to argue with each point. When you over-explain, you are signaling that your no is up for negotiation rather than being a final decision. A simple, kind, and firm no is actually more respectful to both you and the person asking. It shows that you have considered their request and made a clear decision without leaving them in confusion. You can say something like, "That will not work for me, but thank you for thinking of me." This response is polite, clear, and leaves no room for argument while keeping your calm intact. Saying no with a smile is about your tone and body language as much as the words you actually use. You can deliver a firm no while keeping your voice soft, your expression kind, and your posture relaxed. This combination of firmness and kindness is disarming because it leaves the other person with nothing to fight against. They cannot accuse you of being angry or aggressive because your demeanor is peaceful. They cannot claim you were unclear because your words were direct and simple. They may feel disappointed, but they will also respect the clarity and confidence with which you communicated. Your calm delivery shows that you are not asking for permission. You are simply stating a fact. This is the art of setting boundaries without burning bridges, and it is a skill that will serve you for life. One of the biggest challenges in saying no is the fear of how the other person will react to your boundary. You might worry that they will be angry, disappointed, or will like you less because you said no. These fears are valid, but they often imagine worse outcomes than what actually happens in reality. Most reasonable people will accept a clear and kind no without making a big deal about it. The people who react poorly to your boundaries are often the ones who benefited from you not having any. Their anger is not a sign that you did something wrong. It is a sign that they are not used to respecting your limits. You do not need to manage their feelings for them, and you are not responsible for their disappointment. Your job is to protect your peace, and their job is to handle their own emotions like adults. As you practice saying no more often, you will notice that your confidence grows with each successful boundary you set. The first few times will feel uncomfortable because you are breaking old patterns of always saying yes. You might feel a flutter of anxiety in your chest, and your voice might shake slightly when you say the words. This is normal, and it does not mean you are doing anything wrong. It means you are growing. Each time you hold your boundary and survive the other person's reaction, you prove to yourself that you can do it. Your calmness will become stronger as you realize that disappointing people is not actually the disaster you feared. You will begin to trust yourself to handle these conversations with grace and strength. Saying no will transform from a terrifying ordeal into a simple act of self-respect. The ultimate goal of learning to say no is to protect your energy so you can say yes to what truly matters to you. Every yes that you give to something you do not want is a no to something you do want. Your time, your peace, and your emotional energy are finite resources that deserve to be spent wisely. When you guard these resources with healthy boundaries, you have more to give to the people and causes you truly care about. Your calmness flourishes when you are not constantly overextended and resentful from overgiving. The people who truly love you will respect your boundaries and will be happy to see you taking care of yourself. They want you to be well, not worn out from trying to please everyone around you. So practice your kind but firm no, and watch how your life opens up with space for what you truly value. Chapter 11. When to break your silence, using your voice with precision. As a calm person, you have likely experienced moments where staying silent felt right and moments where it felt wrong. There is a fine line between wise silence and silence that allows harm to continue or opportunities to pass you by. Knowing when to break your silence is just as important as knowing when to hold it. Your voice is a powerful tool that should be used with intention, not wasted on every small matter that arises. When you speak rarely, your words carry weight, so you want to make sure you are using that weight wisely. This chapter will help you develop the discernment to know exactly when to speak and when to stay quiet. You will learn to use your voice with precision, making every word count toward your goals and values. The first guideline for when to speak is to ask yourself whether your words will add value to the situation or simply add noise. If you are about to speak just to fill silence, prove a point, or defend your ego, silence is probably the better choice. If your words will bring clarity to confusion, comfort to someone hurting, or truth to a situation that needs it, then speaking is valuable. If you have information that others need to make an important decision, your silence becomes a disservice to the group. If you see someone being treated unfairly and your voice could help, speaking up is an act of courage and justice. Your voice is a resource, and like any resource, it should be used when it can create the most positive impact. Speaking for the sake of speaking depletes your resource without providing benefit to anyone. Save your voice for the moments when it can truly make a difference. Another important moment to break your silence is when a boundary has been crossed and your peace is being disrupted. Staying silent when someone disrespects you does not make you strong. It makes you a doormat for their behavior. Your calmness does not require you to accept treatment that diminishes your worth or violates your values. Speaking up in these moments is an act of self-respect that actually strengthens your calmness rather than weakening it. You can address a boundary violation calmly, firmly, and without raising your voice or losing control. In fact, addressing it calmly makes your words even more powerful because you show that you are not emotionally reactive. You are simply stating a fact about what you will and will not accept in your life. This kind of precise, calm speaking earns respect from others and reinforces your own self-respect. Your voice is also needed when you have a unique perspective or insight that others do not possess. Your quiet nature means you observe details that louder people miss, and those details can be incredibly valuable. In a meeting, your observation about an overlooked risk or opportunity could change the outcome of an entire project. In a friendship, your gentle truth about a harmful pattern could help someone grow and avoid future pain. In a family, your calm perspective could de-escalate a conflict that everyone else is fueling with reactive emotions. When you have something to say that no one else can say, staying silent is not humility. It is a missed opportunity to help. Your voice matters, and your perspective is needed in this world that is often too loud to see clearly. Do not let the habit of silence keep you from sharing the unique gift of your insight. There is also power in breaking your silence to ask for what you need instead of waiting for others to guess. Calm people often suffer in silence because they do not want to burden others with their needs. You might wait for someone to notice that you are overwhelmed, tired, or in need of support. The truth is that most people are too busy with their own lives to notice subtle signals from others. Asking for what you need is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you value yourself enough to advocate for your own well-being. You can ask calmly, directly, and without guilt, knowing that you would want someone to ask you if they needed help. People cannot read your mind, and waiting for them to do so will only lead to disappointment and resentment. Use your voice to ask for what you need and give others the chance to show up for you. Learning when to break your silence is a skill that develops with practice and self-awareness over time. You will make mistakes. You will sometimes speak when you should have stayed quiet and stay quiet when you should have spoken. This is part of being human, and it does not mean you are failing at being a calm person. Each experience teaches you more about your own voice and when it is most powerful to use it. Pay attention to the outcomes of your choices and let those outcomes guide your future decisions. Over time, you will develop a natural sense of when your voice is needed and when silence is the greater strength. Your calmness combined with your precise voice makes you a force for clarity and truth in a chaotic world. Use that force wisely, and the world will be better for hearing you when you choose to speak. Chapter 12. Making your calmness contagious. One of the most beautiful things about calmness is that it has the power to spread from person to person like a gentle wave. When you walk into a room with a peaceful energy, you give others permission to also relax into peace. Your steadiness becomes a model that others can follow, even if they do not realize they are following it. This is not about forcing anyone to change or telling them how they should feel. It is simply about being a source of stability that others can anchor themselves to when they feel unsteady. Your calmness can be a gift to your friends, your family, and everyone who crosses your path. This chapter will explore how you can intentionally share your calm energy in ways that lift others up. You will learn that your quiet strength is not just for you. It is a gift the world desperately needs. The first way your calmness becomes contagious is through the simple act of being present with someone who is struggling. When a friend comes to you in a state of panic or distress, your calm presence can be more healing than any words you could say. By staying grounded, you offer them a safe place where their emotions can settle without judgment or added chaos. They may not even realize why they feel calmer after spending time with you, but they will feel it. Your steady breathing and relaxed body language send signals to their nervous system that everything is okay. This is not about fixing their problems or giving them advice. It is about holding space for them to find their own calm. You are like a still point in their spinning world, and that still point helps them slow down too. Your presence alone is a gift that helps others regulate their own emotions without you having to do anything at all. You can also make your calmness contagious by modeling how to respond to stressful situations with grace. When others see you handle a difficult moment without losing your temper or falling apart, it expands their idea of what is possible. They may think, if they can stay calm in this situation, maybe I can too. Your example gives them a blueprint for how to handle their own challenges with more peace and control. This does not mean you need to preach or teach. Your actions alone are enough to inspire those around you. People learn more from watching how you live than from listening to what you say. By simply being yourself and staying true to your calm nature, you are offering a powerful alternative to the chaos that surrounds us. You are showing others that there is another way to be in this world. There is a special role that calm people often play in families and friend groups as the unofficial peacemakers. You may have noticed that conflicts tend to resolve more easily when you are present in the room. Your energy has a way of cooling heated arguments and helping people find common ground. This is because your calmness lowers the emotional temperature, making space for rational conversation to happen. People are less likely to say things they will regret when your steady presence reminds them to breathe. You do not need to step in and mediate every conflict, but your very presence is a stabilizing force. Family members may seek you out when tensions are high because they know you will not add fuel to the fire. Your calmness is a gift that helps your loved ones find their way back to each other after disagreements. Making your calmness contagious also means protecting your peace so that you can continue to be a source of stability for others. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot offer calm to others when you are depleted yourself. This means setting boundaries, saying no when you need to, and taking time to recharge your own energy. It means not absorbing the stress of everyone around you to the point where you lose your own center. You can support others without becoming their emotional support system entirely on your own. Your calmness is most contagious when it is genuine and sustainable, not when it is forced at the expense of your well-being. Take care of yourself so that you can continue to be the steady presence that others need. Your peace is precious, and guarding it allows you to share it more freely. The world is filled with people who are anxious, overwhelmed, and desperately searching for a sense of peace. You have something that they are looking for, even if they do not know how to name it. Your calmness is not just a personal preference. It is a contribution to the collective energy of every space you enter. By staying true to your nature, you are offering a counterbalance to the chaos that dominates so much of modern life. You are showing people that peace is possible, that stillness is strength, and that calm is a choice available to everyone. This is not a small thing. It is a gift of immeasurable value to those who are lucky enough to be around you. So share your calm freely, not by forcing it on anyone, but simply by being who you are. Your quiet strength is a light in a noisy world, and that light spreads further than you will ever know. Chapter 13. Protecting your peace from the energy vampires. In every life, there are people who seem to drain energy from everyone around them like emotional vampires. These individuals thrive on drama, chaos, and the emotional reactions of others to feel alive or important. They may seek you out specifically because your calmness presents a challenge that they want to disrupt. They will test your boundaries, provoke your emotions, and try to pull you into their whirlwind of problems. If you are not careful, even the calmest person can be drained by these energy vampires over time. This chapter is about identifying these people and, more importantly, protecting your peace from their influence. You do not need to cut everyone out of your life, but you do need strong strategies for dealing with them. Your calmness is a treasure, and you have every right to guard it fiercely. The first step in protecting your peace is learning to recognize energy vampires before they have drained you dry. These people often have a pattern of constant crisis, and every conversation with them revolves around their problems. They rarely ask about your life, and if they do, they quickly turn the focus back to themselves. They may try to provoke emotional reactions from you by saying things designed to make you angry or upset. They thrive on your energy, whether that energy is positive or negative, as long as you are giving it to them. You might notice that you feel exhausted, drained, or heavy after spending time with certain people. This physical and emotional response is your body telling you that your energy has been taken without your consent. Trust these feelings and use them as signals that you need to protect your boundaries. One of the most effective tools for dealing with energy vampires is mastering the art of the calm, boring response. Energy vampires feed on emotional reaction, so when you refuse to give them one, they lose interest. If they try to pull you into drama, respond with a simple, "That sounds difficult," without adding any emotional fuel. If they try to provoke you, respond with a neutral, "Interesting," and then change the subject or end the conversation. Do not explain, defend, or engage with their attempts to hook you into their emotional games. Your calm, boring responses give them nothing to work with, and they will eventually move on to someone who gives them the reaction they crave. This is not about being cold or mean. It is about refusing to participate in dynamics that drain your peace. You can be kind and compassionate while also being boring to people who are trying to use you for emotional energy. Setting time limits on interactions with energy vampires is another powerful way to protect your peace. You do not need to cut these people out of your life entirely if you do not want to. You can simply decide in advance how much time and energy you are willing to give to them. Perhaps you agree to a 30-minute phone call with a friend who always drains you, and then you have a reason to go. Perhaps you limit family gatherings with a certain relative to an hour before you excuse yourself politely. Having a predetermined limit helps you stay in control of the interaction instead of being held hostage by it. You can be present, kind, and engaged during the time you have allotted, knowing that it has an end. This allows you to maintain relationships that matter to you without letting them drain you dry. Your time is valuable, and you get to decide how much of it you give to each person. Creating physical and emotional distance when necessary is sometimes the healthiest choice you can make for your well-being. Some energy vampires are not willing to respect boundaries no matter how calmly and clearly you set them. These people will continue to push, provoke, and drain until you have nothing left to give them. In these cases, distance is not mean. It is an act of self-preservation that protects your ability to stay calm. You may need to see them less often, keep conversations brief, or in extreme cases, end the relationship entirely. This can be painful, especially if the person is a family member or longtime friend. But your peace is worth protecting, and you are allowed to choose relationships that build you up instead of tearing you down. You cannot pour calmness into the world if you are constantly being drained by those who take it without giving back. Ultimately, protecting your peace is about recognizing that you are the guardian of your own energy. No one else will protect your calmness for you, and many people will happily take it if you let them. You have the right to choose who has access to your time, your attention, and your emotional energy. You can be a kind and generous person while also being fiercely protective of your peace. These two things are not opposites. They work together to create a life where you have enough to give because you are not constantly empty. Your calmness is not an unlimited resource, and treating it like one will only lead to burnout and resentment. So guard your peace like the precious gift that it is, and do not feel guilty for keeping it safe. The world needs your calmness, but it needs you to have it first. Chapter 14. The Quiet Leader, How to Lead Without Bossing. When most people think of leadership, they imagine a loud, charismatic person commanding a room with their powerful voice. They picture someone who is always speaking, always directing, and always at the center of attention. This image of leadership overlooks a different kind of leader who is often more effective and more respected. The quiet leader leads not by bossing people around, but by creating an environment where others can do their best work. This leader listens more than they speak, observes before they act, and leads by example rather than by command. If you are a calm person, you have the natural qualities of a quiet leader already within you. This chapter will help you see the leader you already are and give you tools to grow that leadership with confidence. You do not need to become loud to lead. You just need to embrace the quiet strength you already possess. One of the greatest strengths of quiet leaders is their ability to listen deeply to the people they are leading. When team members feel heard and understood, they are more engaged, motivated, and loyal to the leader. A loud leader may give instructions, but a quiet leader asks questions that help people discover their own solutions. You have the patience to let people finish their thoughts without interrupting them to insert your own ideas. This patience shows respect, and respect is the foundation of true leadership that people choose to follow. When people know you genuinely care about their perspective, they will trust your decisions even when they do not fully understand them. Your listening creates psychological safety, which is the most important ingredient for a team to do its best work. This is a leadership superpower that loud leaders rarely possess. Quiet leaders also excel at staying calm under pressure, which inspires confidence in everyone around them. When a crisis hits, people look to their leader to see how they should react to the situation. If the leader panics, everyone panics, and the crisis becomes even harder to navigate effectively. If the leader stays calm, everyone takes a deep breath and focuses on solving the problem at hand. Your natural calmness in difficult moments makes you the kind of leader people want in a storm. They trust that you will not make rash decisions based on fear or anger when the pressure is on. This trust allows them to focus on their own roles without worrying about whether leadership is falling apart. Your calm is not just a personal trait. It is a professional asset that makes you invaluable in any leadership role. Leading without bossing means influencing through example rather than through commands and demands. You show people what excellence looks like by embodying it yourself instead of just telling them to do it. You arrive on time, so others learn the value of punctuality without you having to nag them about it. You treat everyone with respect, so others learn that respect is the standard in your team or organization. You stay calm in stressful moments, so others learn that panic is not an acceptable response to challenges. Your example sets a tone that is more powerful than any speech you could give about values and expectations. People will follow you not because you force them to, but because they want to be like you. This is the highest form of leadership, and it comes naturally to calm people who lead with integrity. There will be times when quiet leaders need to assert themselves and speak with authority, even if it feels uncomfortable. Being a quiet leader does not mean you never give direct instructions or hold people accountable for their actions. When someone is not meeting expectations, you can address it calmly, clearly, and directly without raising your voice. You can set firm boundaries and hold people to them while maintaining your characteristic calm and respect. The difference is that your authority comes from a place of clarity and consistency rather than from volume and intimidation. People will respect your directness because they know it is rare for you and therefore carries weight. You are not a pushover just because you are calm, and you can be both peaceful and powerful. Your quiet leadership style can include firmness when firmness is needed, delivered with the calm that defines you. As you grow into your role as a quiet leader, you will find that your influence extends far beyond any official title you hold. Leadership is not about a position. It is about the impact you have on the people around you. Your calmness, your listening, your example, and your steady presence make you a leader in your family, your friend group, and your community. You do not need to seek recognition or demand that people call you a leader to be one. The people whose lives you touch will know, and they will follow your example because they want to, not because they have to. This is a beautiful and powerful way to move through the world, leaving positive influence wherever you go. So embrace the quiet leader within you and step into the influence you are already having on the world. Your leadership is needed, and it is exactly the kind of leadership the world needs more of. Chapter 15. Your Calm Future, Building a Life That Doesn't Shake. As we come to the final chapter of this journey, it is time to look ahead at the life you are building with your quiet strength. You have learned why your calmness intimidates others and why that is not your problem to fix. You have discovered tools to stay grounded in storms and boundaries to protect your precious peace. You have seen how your listening, your silence, and your steady presence are gifts to those around you. Now it is time to apply everything you have learned to create a life that reflects your true nature. A life that does not shake when the world around it trembles with chaos and noise. This chapter is about vision, about building a future where your calmness is not just a trait but a foundation. Let us imagine together what your calm future can look like and how you can start building it today. Your calm future begins with making choices that align with your nature instead of fighting against it every day. You have spent too much time trying to be louder, faster, and more reactive to fit into a world that does not understand you. From now on, you will choose environments that appreciate your calm rather than punishing you for it. You will seek out careers that value thoughtfulness, patience, and the ability to stay steady under pressure. You will build friendships with people who enjoy quiet moments together without needing constant noise and stimulation. You will create a home that feels like a sanctuary, a place where you can recharge and return to your center. Every choice you make will be filtered through one simple question: does this support my calm or drain it? Your future is built choice by choice, and you now have the wisdom to choose what serves your peace. In your calm future, your relationships will look different because you will show up as your authentic self from the beginning. You will not pretend to be more outgoing or more emotional than you are to make others comfortable. The people in your life will know you as the calm one, and they will love you for it rather than asking you to change. Your friends will come to you when they need a steady presence, and you will be there for them without losing yourself. Your family will learn that your silence is not rejection, but simply how you process the world around you. You will set boundaries early and consistently, so resentment does not build up over years of overgiving. Your relationships will be fewer but deeper, filled with people who see your calmness as the strength it truly is. You will no longer chase connection with people who make you feel wrong for being yourself. Your career and life purpose will align with your calm nature in ways that feel fulfilling rather than draining. You will find work that values your ability to think deeply, listen carefully, and lead with quiet confidence. You will not force yourself into roles that demand constant performance, noise, and emotional labor that exhausts you. You will trust that your way of being is not a barrier to success, but a unique asset that sets you apart. The world is waking up to the value of calm leadership, thoughtful decision-making, and emotional intelligence. You are perfectly positioned to step into opportunities that were always meant for someone like you. Your calm future is not about settling for less. It is about reaching for the life that actually fits who you are. Success on your own terms is not only possible, it is the only kind of success that will ever satisfy your soul. Your calm future also involves a commitment to ongoing growth and self-care that keeps your center strong. You cannot build a life that does not shake if you are constantly running on empty and ignoring your own needs. You will make time for the practices that restore your calm, whether that is quiet mornings, time in nature, or simply saying no to overcommitment. You will check in with yourself regularly to make sure you are living in alignment with your values and your nature. When you notice yourself drifting into old patterns of people-pleasing or overextending, you will course-correct with kindness. You will treat your calmness as a precious resource that needs regular replenishment, not an endless well that never runs dry. Your self-care is not selfish. It is the foundation that allows you to be your best self for the world. A calm future is built on a foundation of consistent, loving attention to your own well-being. As you step into this calm future, remember that you are part of a larger movement toward peace in a chaotic world. You are not alone in your desire for stillness, and your way of being is needed more than ever. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you are casting a vote for the kind of world you want to live in. Every boundary you set, every deep breath you take, every moment you refuse to be pulled into drama, you are making peace more possible. Your calmness is not just for you. It is a gift that ripples outward, touching everyone whose life you enter. You have the power to be an anchor for others, a voice of reason, and a living example of a different way to be human. This is not a small thing. It is a contribution of immense value to a world starving for peace. So go forward with confidence, knowing that your quiet strength is exactly what the world needs, and your calm future is waiting for you to claim it. Conclusion. You began this book with a title that might have felt like a question or a burden. Why does my calmness intimidate others? Now, you know the answer is not that you are doing something wrong, but that you possess something rare. Your stillness reflects the chaos others carry, your silence commands attention they cannot achieve, and your steadiness challenges the loudness they mistake for power. This realization is not meant to make you feel superior to anyone. It is meant to free you from trying to be smaller. You have spent too long apologizing for being calm, and it is time to stop. Your quiet strength is not a flaw to be fixed, but a gift to be shared with a world that desperately needs more peace. The intimidation others feel is not your burden to carry. It is simply evidence of your power. Walk forward with that truth held close to your heart. The life you are now building is one where calmness is not hidden, but honored as the superpower it truly is. You have the tools to stay grounded in any storm, the wisdom to protect your peace, and the vision to create a future that does not shake. Your relationships will deepen as you stop pretending to be someone you are not. Your influence will grow as you lead with quiet confidence instead of loud demands. Your days will feel lighter when you stop fighting your nature and start living in harmony with it. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a life where your calmness is your greatest asset. The world will continue to be loud, and people will continue to be confused by your stillness. But you will no longer be confused by yourself, and that clarity is the foundation of everything beautiful that comes next. Go gently, stay steady, and let your quiet strength light the way.